What's up, everybody? Palodin here, bringing you guys another video. Today's video, as you guys can see, is going to be over the LCS Spring Split. We're going to be doing a power ranking system. This video is going to kind of go through a little bit like this. We're going to go through every single team, and we're also going to talk about every player on those teams and how we think, by we I mean me, what I think how these players are going to perform. And before we get into the video, I do want to say, everyone who watched my very first video on my channel, my concept for a champion known as Yon for League of Legends, I got a lot of love for that. I was very surprised for a very first video with no sort of marketing for the video or my channel at all. It did fairly well. I got over 100 views in a day, which is pretty, within 2 days. So I mean, probably not a lot for some people, but since it's the very first video I did, I was pretty happy about it. So thank you guys for watching that video. Hopefully this one we can get somewhere around that. This video is going to be a little bit long, so I will have some timestamps below in the description if you want to skip to a certain team that I will be talking about, or you just want to skip to the end where I do just the actual rankings from 10 to 1. So before we get into transitioning from that, this is kind of how I'm doing my my ranking system. Obviously, what we're gonna be here's basically how everything's gonna go down. We have 5 different rankings. Each role is going to get 2 of each one of these rankings as you go down. That's equals out to how many players are actually in the starting roles of these LCS teams. So just moving our way down here from S to D, S players being the best players in their role. A, probably not the best, maybe like second best a little bit, but they're definitely all-star caliber players. They're not, they're no slouches. B, very average players. C and D are kind of the below. We don't think they're going to perform very well this split. And like I said before, this is not based off of what they did last year. This is based off what I think they're going to perform this year. So if you see somebody maybe being ranked a little bit higher or a little bit lower than what you thought, let me know in the comments and we can talk about it. Also, this star here, this is going to go to 1 player on each team. This is my player to watch for that team, whether it is they're going to be the reason why that team fails and crashes and burns, or they're going to be the reason why the team plays very well. So we'll start off here. We'll go into 100 Thieves. One of the brand new teams to the LCS. I'm very excited to watch this team play, actually. I'm a huge Someday fan. I have been, since his KT days. Amazing player. Actually, in my opinion, I think he may have probably the best split when it comes to being a top laner. When you look at his team, he actually has a very solid team. This team's constructed sort of like Immortals was a little bit. Jungle and mid maybe, or not maybe, but jungle and mid definitely a downgrade from what Immortals had. But Someday is going to be the vocal point of this team, so I think he's going to be probably the best top laner in NA this year, and we'll see it. I'm guaranteeing you. He has a better team than when he had on Dignitas. His bot lane's a lot better. Mid lane's solid. His jungler can be very good in Meteos. I don't think we'll see Meteos for an entire split, honestly, and that's why I'm going to be giving him a D. In my opinion, sorry, I have my ranking systems over here. I didn't have them written down. In my opinion, Meteos probably won't make it through all 9 weeks. They have Levi, if you guys know, he was the Gigabyte Marines jungler on their academy team. I think they're going to keep him down there until he gets a little more acclimated. Well, actually, they can't even bring him up because they already have 2 imports. Well, that kind of changes things. I think Meteos will get through at least 1 split before they try to make a change, if he plays where I think he's going to, which is probably the bottom. There's just so many good junglers in the league, and the meta right now is not really fit to what he's used to. He's used to the Gragas, the Zacs, the Elises, and you're seeing he's okay at least in, but like you're seeing a lot of Jax, a lot of Xin Zhao. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see Xin Zhao in the LCS. Don't know how much of that he's been practicing. I haven't really been watching his stream, so I'm not too impressed with Meteos at the moment. So D. Ryu. Probably a C. I'm a huge fan of Ryu. I just think he's going to be a just an average player, a little bit below average. A lot of the power from this team is coming from Someday and from this bot lane, which, in my opinion, I believe both of these players are B caliber. Cody Sun is only a B because he has Aphromoo. If he did not have Aphromoo, he would probably be a C, to be completely honest with you. But their bot lane synergy, I think Aphromoo is going to hide a lot of those mistakes, kind of like Ole did last year, making this bot lane okay. Now, a few points before we move on to the next team. And I'll be doing, I'm going to give a few points per each team, just some key notions that I think is what's going to happen, or what this team should do, or what they shouldn't do, I guess. Playoffs, I do think they can get the playoffs someday, and that's fully pun intended there. Someday is going to be the reason why they make the playoffs or why they don't make the playoffs. He has a very bad split. They're not even coming close. They may finish last. But if he plays to the potential that he knows he can, and that his teammates know, and Nadeshot, obviously, why you probably got him here is because, you know, probably told him, like, look, dude, you get Someday here. He's the second closest thing to impact, maybe better, especially as a split pusher and just an offensive top laner. Playoffs are definitely in 100 Thieves' future. Even if they make the playoffs, I don't think they're going to go that far, but I do think they can be a thief when it comes to where other teams are going to place. I think they can knock out some really, really good teams, maybe in the first round, like a TL, like a TSM. They have the potential to. They can upset a lot of people. Also, they can kick somebody out who's probably on the cusp of getting into the playoffs just from riding off of Someday's extraordinary play that's going to happen this season. And we don't really know which Meteos we're going to get. Are we going to get blonde-haired Meteos? Are we going to get dark Meteos part 2? What are we going to get? You know, Meteos played a lot better, I think, on Phoenix 1 than what he did at the end of his Cloud9 season. But that was still nothing to what the Meteos was prior to, you know, Jensen coming, you know, when he was the best jungler in North America, and it was amazing to watch him play. We'll see. I don't know. I don't think we're going to see a great Meteos, but, you know, I've been wrong, but yeah, we'll see. Next year we're going to Cloud9. In my opinion, one of the more controversial, you know, roster changes, letting Impact walk. It may have been because he wanted close to $1 million. He wanted a 6-7 figure deal. I don't know if Jack really wanted to give him that, but they let Impact walk, and they got rid of contracts, which still hurts me. I would have loved to see this team with contracts. But they got Sven Skaren, solid jungler. He's gonna have a bigger role when it comes to this team than what he did on TSM. And Licorice, the rookie from E United. Now, you guys will see this from this video and coming on power rankings. I do not give rookies very high rankings. The highest a rookie will get is a B. Mainly because they haven't played a lot. They've just played solo queue, or they played in the Challenger Series like Licorice has. They don't deserve to get a B or an A or an S because they're not. It doesn't matter how much hype they have, like someone like Mike Young or Licorice. We haven't seen them play yet. Now, Licorice did hit, you know, first on the NA ladder. Big fucking deal. But I'm not sold. I'm not sold on it yet. Especially with all of the great top laners in the split. Things are going to struggle a lot. I think the map is going to get a lot more focused around Jensen, which is where it should be, because Jensen, this is Jensen's world now. Jensen is the main carry on this team. With Impact gone, and Contracts is very aggressive play out of the picture, you have someone who's a little more, who's more of a veteran in Sven, who's going to do similar things to what Contracts did, but he's probably going to be a little more down to making team plays as well, sort of like an ex-Smithy. Speaking of Sven, honestly, they may have the best core of carries on this team. I'm giving Sven, Jensen, and Sneaky all S's. And if you watch Sneaky at Worlds last year, that's all really you have to look at. He was the best North American AD carry last year at Worlds. Now, obviously, he had Cody Sun and Double Lips, but Sneaky, I think he's going to take all of that, what he did last year, and I think he's going to bring it in here. And I think we need to start giving Sneaky the credit that he is the best he is the best marksman AD carry in North America. I think this year they're gonna have a very, very good year, especially with a slightly better jungler in Svenskeren. Everyone probably knows Svenskeren. You know, if you didn't watch him when he was on SK, just watching him on TSM, where he started off as a very, very aggressive Lee Sin player, and then he slowly transformed into a walking ward for Bjergsen. That's not Sven, and Jensen doesn't need that. You saw what happened even when Meteos was still playing with Jensen. High played very well as a jungler for the most part, and then at Contracts was able to play his game, and that's what Sven's going to be able to do. Jensen obviously being the second best, maybe first, depending on who you talk to, mid laner in NA. That's not changing. No one's going to take that spot from him. The other question here is Smoothie. Now, I would love to give Smoothie an S, but I think there's a few people who are slightly better than him. We're going to edge him out, but I will give Smoothie an A. I will give Smoothie an A. I don't have really anything good or bad to say about Smoothie. We'll just have to see how he plays. He's very solid last year. He's very solid in playoffs. He wasn't that solid in playoffs. He got a lot better at Worlds. But I think they're going to have a lot of trouble getting Licorice involved at the beginning. I think second split we'll see some different rankings here. Definitely out of Licorice though. But speaking of Licorice, that's probably my number one point here. Is Jack, the owner, if you guys haven't noticed, he kind of has a sweet tooth for getting rookies. Bringing in Jensen after his perma ban, or that his ban that Jensen had over being in the LCS or Incarnation at the time, I guess. Bringing him in was sort of kind of a controversial move to replace High, who was the face of your Cloud9 team. Getting rid of Meteos, who was the Cloud9 jungler since they were in the LCS. Bringing in Contracts, the rookie. Taking chances is something that Jack and Cloud9 likes to do, and I hope it works out with Licorice. I don't know at the beginning. I don't think they're expecting him to be the next Hanser or Impact out the gate, but definitely the fans are, and I know Licorice probably is thinking that too. He doesn't want to be like a work in progress. He wants to be him at the highest level now. I don't know if that's going to really work out for them. Next team, Clutch Gaming. This is probably my favorite team that was formed. I'm going to be very unbiased here, though, as much as I can. Starting with Solo in the top lane. I'm not sold on Solo, and I think his solo performance just in general is going to be very bad, just because he's going to be playing against a lot of very good top players. Same kind of situation as Licorice. I don't see him being able to do a lot. You're going to put him on a tank. He's going to be the Dyrus 2.0 of NA, where he's just going to get camped and probably get first turreted off of. Lyra and Febiven should they should focus all of their efforts on getting this bot lane ahead, which in my opinion is probably the second or third best bot lane collectively in NA. Haku and Apollo are the second NA bot lane that stayed together through the franchising. I don't count Sven if they came over from EU, so you have Smoothie and Sneaky, and then these two. They've just gotten better every year. And the cool thing about this team is that this is the good pieces of Envy, of that Envy roster. So are we going to believe the hype of this new Envy team? Are we envious of this new Envy team? I think so. I think you need to be. I think they need to be watched out for, because Lyra is going to win MVP this year. Going to win MVP. This is his year. This is Lyra's year to be the breakout player, because he has all his tools now. He has a very, very good mid laner in Febiven. What did I rank Febiven? I think I ranked him an A. Yeah. Lyra has all the tools that he really needs outside of a outstanding top laner, but he has a rookie top laner who played on GCU, wasn't a bad player, just wasn't the aggressive carry potential that Licorice was. I think Solo is going to be a solid top laner. I think he just needs some work. But Lyra has, probably someone who's going to be okay with playing tanks in the top lane. Got Febi, who is a very good mid laner. And you got Apollo and Haku with a very strong bot lane. At times, probably the best bot lane in NA last year when you look at their stats and CS and everything else like that. I'm really excited about this team. You're probably going to see me wearing a lot of their merch. I got some stuff being mailed to me. But I see a lot of big things coming from Clutch Gaming. This split. Now this is probably everyone's favorite team, Team Solo Mid. It was my favorite team for a while, and then just very disappointing. You know, like most NA teams when they go to Worlds, it's just very, very disappointing. I'm gonna be as critical as possible here with this team, just because this is probably everybody's favorite team to win. Both splits and get to Worlds. We'll start with the stuff that we know, which is Hanser and Bjergsen being the best in their roles. Hanser, like I said, him and Someday are very, very close, but these two are top of their roles, not changing much. I think the one thing that does need to change is Hanser needs to take the keys to the car here in this sense. He needs to be the carry and not so much Bjergsen. Let Bjergsen sort of kind of take the back seat. It's a little bit like what Faker did last year. Camera. Okay, the camera's good. A little bit what Faker did last year with Huni, letting Huni kind of run the show, and Faker was kind of playing second fiddle to Huni. That needs to happen in this case, just because Hanser has top lane is becoming such a very good carry role now, with Jace being played a lot more, and you have champions like Camille and Fiora is still really good, and Jax is coming into the meta again. Hanser needs to be on those type of champions, and he needs to be the one carrying, and put Bjerg on someone like Zillion, or put Bjerg on Orianna or Syndra, or someone who he can still make plays happen, but the carry, most of the resources are going to go towards Hanser. So look for that. We'll go to the bot lane because I want to save Mike Young for last. Sven and Mithy, one of the best, if not the best, bot lane in EU last year, coming over to North America from G2. When you look at Sven's numbers, don't be fooled by the fact that he was the best EU AD carry last year, because when you look at his stats last year, compare them to Doublelift, Apollo, Sneaky. Did I say Sneaky? No, I said Sneaky, Doublelift, Apollo, Stixay even. Sven's numbers, his CS numbers, kill participation was all lower than all of theirs. So how well is it? How good is he gonna be? He still is a great mid laner. He went from Perks to Bjergsen. Better top laner than expect, and then Trick, probably a better jungler than Mike Young at the moment. So very similar team. I think this is kind of where they were last year if I would have ranked them. Mithy is just a better player overall. I think he's gonna have a lot of synergy with Hanser, a lot of synergy with Mike Young, and that's if Mike Young plays well. That's the big point here for me is Reginald got a little reckless with bringing in Mike Young. A little young and reckless, if you want to say. And I don't think Mike Young is deserving of this starting spot. Not yet. He played for a really bad P1 team for one split, which is why he's still rookie in my opinion, because you need to play 2 splits, which would be technically a whole season for you to be considered a non-rookie. He played very well, but it's like garbage time, It's just garbage time. He's playing on a really shitty team and didn't get the playoffs and almost got almost got kicked out of the league. I can't say that word. He almost got kicked out of the league. So a lot of hype around him. I will give him a B because I do think he is going to perform very well. I would say he'd probably be a C, but I think his team that he's on collectively is going to make him a better player. So I'd give him a B. But don't be surprised if he's a B next split. Or he could be an S. He can be the best, the best jungler in the league, but we'll see. We'll see. Oh yeah, and like I said, star here goes for Mike Young, because Mike Young is going to have to be the guy who does a lot of this stuff. If Mike Young does not perform very well, even if Hanser and Bjerg have career seasons, it's not going to matter. He's got to be the vocal point of this offense, and they're just the entire team overall. He has to be the vocal point. Optic Gaming, not going to spend too much time on Optic Gaming just because they're not a very good team at all. They have a bunch of off, like if you're trying to sign a franchise player and you don't have the funds to sign other players, this is kind of what you get stuck. Like if you sign like LeBron James, and you're like, okay, I have barely any money left, so you just go grab a bunch of other like small, free agents who don't have a contract, who didn't really do that well. This is kind of what that team is. Power of Evil is their best player, but that's it. Like Arrow, wasn't really impressed with Arrow last year, and he had Adrian as a support. And at time, I think he had X Special. Lemon is worse, and I really wish that teams would just let Lemon retire. There's like a saying like, life gives you lemons, let him retire, life gives you lemons, something like that. Just let Lemon retire. Let him go, actually, and bring him back as a coach for this team, because they have a very young rookie in Winter who's on their academy team. He can be very good, and I think you have someone who has the knowledge that Lemon does and all the experience. Just bring him in. Let him play with a really good AD carry like Arrow. Let him play underneath Lemon. I think it's a win-win for them, because they're not going to be very good this season, the split. And I think after this split, I think Lemon does retire. Moving to the top side of the map, Acadian, still a rookie because he only played one split. He got replaced by Griggs on Echo Fox. Like I said, same kind of issue with Meteos. There's just too many good junglers for him to do much. I don't think he'll be the first Blood King that he was. And Zig, I think Zig is going to struggle a little bit. I may be opposed. I wouldn't be opposed to giving him a C next split, just because I think he will start to get better. But same kind of thing with Mike Young. Most of those players from that P1 team are not getting anything higher than a C. Outside of Mike Young, it's kind of hard to do that. But the person who's going to be the player to watch on here is crazy enough, right? The best player on their team. Poe, Power of Evil, Mr. Unicorns of Love, Mr. EU, I should say. He's really going to have to do a lot. And I think it's going to get to the point where it's kind of like Froggen was on Echo Fox, where it's just, he's doing so much and his numbers are great. And like, wow, he's like a top three mid laner. Why aren't they winning games? And you look at the rest of his team, like, oh, okay. Like my team's sort of issue, like in solo queue, same sort of ordeal here. Oh, can't talk. I'm gonna say it now. I don't even see them winning a game, honestly. And I'm a huge fan of Optic, Hex, their owner, big fan of everybody, but they may not even win a game. Not what the meta is right now. I just don't see it. Let's move on from that team. Let's go on something a little more bright. Counterlogic Gaming. This team, I think this team's very, very, very good. My biggest issue is letting Aframu walk and still keeping the biggest problem as to why they're not that competitive consistently, because they play well for spurts and then they garbage. Huhi and Stixay, one of those two need to go. Huhi and Darshan actually kind of counteract each other, because Huhi does not like winning lane. He likes to go and roam, especially level 2. Darshan is better in a split pushing environment, and Huhi just like, okay, I'm gonna go give resources to bot lane, and then if bot lane loses, or if he fails his gank, then he goes, okay, I'm gonna go bot lane again. It's not a good attitude to have. You need to have a mid laner who wants and can win lane, who's good enough to win lane, like Ryu. You can put Ryu on this team, and I think they would be better. It's because Ryu is going to try to win lane at least, and possibly win lane and, get a bunch of farm. Unless he's on Aurelion Soul, which he never is because they just target ban him, not very good. Not very good. I don't think he's going to do much, and I'm kind of sad to say that because I like seeing Aurelion Soul, but the big focus of this team is going to be the top lane. Top side of the map, Darshan and Rainover. Rainover, it is Rainover's time. I think this split will be his coming out party again, and I think next split he'll be right there with Lyra as the number 1, number 2 jungler in the league. I just think I think next split they may make a change. I think we're going to see a lot of teams try to do that, but I think Huhi needs to go. I think bringing in Omar God last year was obviously a bad idea, but getting rid of Huhi or getting rid of Stixay, it's got to be one of those two. And this bot lane, speaking of Stixay, this bot lane with Biofrost, I think could be very good. I'd say they're average. It's a good team. They're a bunch of average players. It's not really playoff. I mean, it's playoff contender. But, I mean, it's playoff worthy, but it's not like spring championship contender like team. At least not right now. But if they get a different mid laner and possibly a different AD carry or just one or the other, and they focus more on giving Darshan more resources and letting Reignover pick his spots where he wants to gank and hopefully putting it top lane, getting Darshan ahead, I think it would actually be beneficial for him. But what do I know? We'll move into Echo Fox here. Huni, and I put a question mark here because I don't know which Huni we're going to get. Are we going to get Immortals Huni? Are we going to get Fnatic Huni? Are we going to get SKT Huni? Are we going to get Lucian Top Huni? What are we going to get? If we do get the first three, any one of those first three, I think you have a very good chance of having a playoff team. Just off the fact of Huni, because Huni is a monster. Monster. If Faker, actually if Bang and Wolf would have played a little bit better, they could have took a few games off of Samsung, maybe pushed it to 5 games, but Huni played out of his mind. And that's what he needs from a team, though. He needs all the resources in order to do that. And this is the type of team that's going to give it to him, especially with Dardoch. I put Dardoch right there with him. This is basically the spearhead of this team. There's no one else on this team that's actually even really worth talking about. Everyone else is kind of like the bottom of the barrel. Phoenix and Alltech, probably the 2 worst players at their position in the LCS. They're not obviously bad players because they're in the LCS. They're getting paid to play, but when it comes to everybody else, definitely the bottom. And Adrian's kind of fallen from grace in my opinion. I don't think this meta is going to be healthy for him either. Soraka's not, the Ardent Center meta is kind of gone, and this team's not anywhere near what their Immortals team was like. So I think it's just, But if this team does not make the playoffs, that brings the idea of where the fuck is Froggen? Why are we letting Froggen walk? We have 1 import in Huni. We could have kept Froggen. They need to get Froggen back next year. And if they don't, this team's going to continue to struggle. And if they continue to struggle, look for Dardoch and Huni to butt heads, because Dardoch doesn't really get along with any high egotistical Korean players. Example, Piglet. So look for them to either be very, very good early and then crash and burn, or be very, very bad and then make a team change. FlyQuest, there's a lot I want to talk about in FlyQuest, but also not really at the moment, just because this team has so many question marks. Flaming Fly, Flying Flame, these 2 guys, they're gonna be very good. They're gonna be very good. I think a B. I would like to give them both A's, but can't obviously because of my ruling. But they're going to be very good for this split, and I think they're gonna keep even better if they stay together. I don't know if Anda is the right jungler for this team. Probably just couldn't find anybody else who's North American, bound, where they don't have to waste an import slot since they already did with these 2. I think he'll be okay. Give him a C. The problem with me is kind of the bot lane. Is Wild Turtle is good. I think he's a B quality player, but having stunt, I don't think it's gonna be very beneficial for him. Kind of the same way that Arrow has Lemonation. I think Wild Turtle has a better support. Maybe Wild Turtle needs a support sort of like Ole or Aframu, somebody who can keep him down when he plays really, really aggressive and can kind of pick up some of those mistakes that he did. That way they don't get punished for it. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. I think their quest for relevancy is going to continue. I don't really see him being too relevant right now, and maybe next split. This is kind of one of those just kind of let's figure it out sort of split. So just throw a bunch of shit together and see what happens. Speaking of throwing shit together and seeing what happens, The Golden Guardians is the only team in the league that is completely NA. No imports. It's a bad idea. Bad idea. And I don't know why they're the only team who thinks that it's not. Loco Doco just thinks he crafted the greatest team in the world. Contracts, that's a big steal. High, yeah. Matt, yeah. Lorlo is, yeah. You know, it's just a bunch of team of A. Like, I would love, like, Contracts is not a C player, but from what he's gonna have to play with, he is for this next split. It's kind of depressing to say, honestly. The one bright point, fucking shit up here. The one bright point, outside of the fact that I'm giving this guy a D, is Definitely. D for Definitely. I think definitely has time to develop, and I think playing with High and being in a system where now he doesn't have to worry about getting relegated, he can just focus on playing, and even if they're bad, he can still get better. I think this Golden Guardians team will realize the mistakes in their ways and not getting any imports, and maybe they'll grab an import, you know. Local coach GCU, there was a really good support on GCU. Pretty sure his name is Mad Life. Maybe we'll see Mad Life in a Golden Guardians uniform. Golden Coin, Golden Guardians, makes sense. The only bright point for this team is going to be Contracts. If they win a game, it's going to be because he got fed out of his fucking mind and playing something like Graves or Lee Sin. He has chance to grow. I think he'll be here after next split. I think Definitely will. I think Lorlo will, and High, I think they will be winning that. Unfortunately, sorry, but moving into the last team here. Team Liquid, paid by Steve, sponsored by Steve. If you guys don't know, that's a meme where Steve the owner, bought all of these players. Just started throwing money around and tried to buy the best team he possibly could. Didn't want to grow any talent. Just like, yeah, let's buy the best team. Let's just Miami Heat it. If this doesn't win, can he get a refund? I mean, honestly, this team's strong on paper. They're strong probably on the Rift. But what if they don't win? This is kind of the same concept where Immortals had, where you had Pole Belter, you had a Rainover, you had Immortal, you had Hooney, you had Adrian. I don't remember who the carry was at the time. Was it Double Lift? No, it was Wild Pearl. Why did I say Double Lift? It's because Double Lift's on the screen. Yeah. That team was amazing. One split. Didn't drop a game. Lost in the first round. Got second or first the next split. Lost in the first round. So, but Impact definitely better than Hooney. In some instances, he's more of a tanky, I'm gonna play Maokai sort of top laner, but doesn't make a ton of mistakes. Unless he's playing Gnar and he plays too aggressive, but I think it's a solid pick. I think having Smithy helps this team a lot. Probably the most consistent jungler that we've had in the league. I think he'll go up past an A. I think he'll get an S for next split. But starting off, I think it's just an A. Big reason, because there's so many good players on this team. It's hard for everyone. It's hard for everyone to get S, especially when you're in a role like Smithy's, where you have to feed this all-star lane, this all-star lane, this all-star lane. You can't really get his. You can't really get his own resources. He's got to feed everybody else before he can eat, sort of concept. But this bot lane, though, maybe the best constructed bot lane we've seen in the LCS so far. Double Lift and Ole. Woof. This is going to be good. I cannot wait to see TSM play Liquid, just because I want to see the bot lane go at it. The best North American bot lane versus the best EU bot lane. We'll see how it goes. But the strong point here, and I wish if I could have two stars, I would. But Impact and Double Lift are definitely the 1 and 2 on this team. Pole Belter never really has been the main person on the team, and I don't think he should be. I think he's better as a second fiddle. In this case, a third fiddle, because of Double Lift and Impact both being on the team. He just needs to play his role, which he does a very good job at. Not losing lane, and making roaming plays with Dick Smithy, especially if he's playing on something like Talia, just trying to make things happen around the map to help Doublets and Impact carry the game. And don't really have much else to say about them, just that Steve spent way too much money on that team. So now we've gone. Alright guys, sorry about that. As you can tell, this probably looks a little bit different. You can see the sun outside. It's actually the next day. I was editing the video last night, and for some reason the section that had this portion of the video in it got deleted. So we're just going to redo it all right now for you guys. So my 10th place team, you guys can probably tell by the way I was talking about them, it's going to be Optic Gaming. I feel this team is very, very weak at the moment. They don't have much to look forward to this split other than getting rid of Lemon Nation, I hope. And not to sound mean, but like I said before, they have a very young support in Winter who I feel can really groom, and really loud truck outside, who can really groom and mature under a coach type of advisor like Lemon Nation, playing with a pretty good AD carry and Arrow. I think Winter is the future for this Optic Gaming team if they were to go that route. Other than that, I don't really see any other bright points for this team. Power of Evil is going to be doing Power of Evil things, same thing he did on Misfits. This is a lot worse team than Misfits, obviously. So just look for Power of Evil to do a lot. This team may not win a game, this split. I'm almost about 80% positive that Optic Gaming will not win a game. So moving on, we'll go up the list. My 9th place team, probably Golden Guardians. Kind of the same situation with Optic Gaming. I don't think this is going to be their split to really. I think they're just throwing shit together and see what sticks. I feel definitely is going to be a good pick for them. I think Lorelo will be okay. And obviously Contracts is amazing. High is a solid mid laner who they can keep around, I guess, to help mature these younger players. But hopefully my prediction is that they get rid of Matt and they pick up Loco Doco's Challenger League support in Mad Life, which would make a lot of sense. I think it's the best pick for them. I hope they go through with that. That would be mucho impressive for Golden Guardians. It'll be a lot better next split. They may be a 7th to 8th place team next split if that were to occur. Next, my 8th place team, FlyQuest. They have good pieces to build around. I'm trying to get this. All right. They have good pieces to build around. They have Fly. They have Flame. They still have Wild Turtle, who still has a lot left in the tank, I feel. The support role is probably the one that they need to upgrade. The jungle role with Anda, it's speculatory. It's speculatory at this point. We don't know how he's going to perform. I hope he performs well, because if he does, this team's definitely higher than an 8th spot. But if he doesn't, they need to kind of figure out what they can do to fix that. I mean, maybe getting, I don't know. I'm trying to think of any domestic junglers who are pretty good. I don't know. That hopefully it works out for him. I do think getting a different support though, getting rid of Stunt, would probably be the best thing for that team. 8th place for FlyQuest. 7th place. To me, this was kind of a no-brainer. I don't think Echo Fox will make the playoffs. I want Echo Fox to make the playoffs, but outside of Huni and Dardoch, they have nothing else. Nothing else is really good, and I think if this team doesn't make the playoffs, I think Froggen should come back, and if they are able to keep Huni, keep Dardoch on the same page where they're not arguing and flaming each other, this team can make playoffs. This team will make playoffs next split if Froggen's on the team. If Froggen's on the team this year, they would be higher than these next two teams. I'd probably put them at the 5th spot, but they don't have Froggen. They are stuck with Phoenix. 7th place for Echo Fox. 6th place, the team of Friendship, Chronologic Gaming. Not much to say about them. I think they're going to be I think 6th place is a disappointment for CLG. I definitely think they should be a top 3, top 4 team every single time, and they do show signs of it. They have. the past 2 years, outside of winning their split, you know, the 2 splits that they did win, they've shown life at certain points. It's just not very consistent. I think this is a more consistent team, but the bot lane is... I don't like the combination of 6 and Biofrost. Thinking about it now, they're both very good players. I don't like the combination. 6th place for Kind of Logic Gaming. 5th place. Oh, you just guys probably just saw that already, but 5th place is gonna be 100 Thieves. I think that's good. I think these 6 teams belong in these spots. 100 Thieves, I mean, don't really have much to say. I mean, I think someday he's just gonna carry very, very hard. He's gonna get into this 5th spot, but he's not gonna carry as hard as the 4th place team with Lyra. I think this team is going to be very good for years to come if they keep this same roster. I think solo can only get better. They can only get better. You know, Febi's still in his prime. Lyra's about to enter his prime. Hakuo and Apollo are about to enter their prime. You give Solo 2 splits, this is probably the best team in NA. Could be, depending on how Solo plays. 3rd place. Now see, this was kind of tough because you may be thinking, why is this tough? Because I think these 3 top teams... What the fuck is my dog doing? All 3 of these top teams can actually win the LCS. I know I was talking all that shit about Cloud9, but this team can win LCS. This team can. I think this team can beat TSM. I think they could beat TL. I think TL can beat both of them, and vice versa with TSM. So it's really, really hard for me to. I want to swing for the fences, but I'm gonna put Cloud9 in 3rd. I think Licorice needs 1 split, and then we can kind of figure out how Licorice is gonna play. If he comes out and just dominates, and they get this 3rd place finish, and he has a very strong performance in playoffs, he's gonna go up. He's gonna go up. He's gonna be an A, maybe an S. I like to see, like I said before, I don't like giving rookies really, really high rankings just because they're not proven yet. And Licorice against Impact, Licorice against Hanser, it's just I can't see it being very good right now. But he can completely prove me wrong, and he could be the best top laner in NA. It's just we have to see from him. Everybody else in that team though is solid. Then TL. This is probably a no-brainer for most people watching this video. TL 2nd place, TSM 1st. I think TSM is just slightly better than TL overall as a team comp. I think TL has some better areas for them. Obviously, their jungler is a lot better. Top lane is pretty even, just really depends on the meta. Mid lane is... Pole Belter can hold his own. Even though he's not Jensen and Bjergsen, he can hold his own against those two, which is something that no other mid laner in the league can do. And they have a very, very good bot lane. So... all 3 of these teams actually have very good bot lane. So it's like, it's almost one of those situations where you're going to see 40-minute games where it's going to come down to 1 Baron fight or 1 Elder fight or just something that's going to predict how this games are going to go. That was actually a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be, because I originally had TL as number 1, Cloud9 is 3rd, and TSM is TL is 1st, Cloud9 is 2nd, and TSM is 3. But I had to change my mind just because I had to go with, just logic on it. I don't think I think it's pretty good. Yeah, that's, I'm not going to touch it. We're going to stick with this. So if you guys agree with me on this, if you guys don't agree with me, let me know in the comments. I will be doing power ranking videos, like I said, at the beginning of each split and at the end of each split, and then going into playoffs, worlds, everything else. So if you guys like this idea, please let me know. I want to keep doing these type of videos for you guys, and I'll constantly keep changing some things. We'll adapt and we'll get better at them. But I think I'll end the video here. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.